With that, I'm going to turn it over quickly to Dan Betancourt, the President and CEO of Community First Fund. And we will work on trying to get the screen back for other people.
Thank you, David. Thank you, John, for those welcoming comments. I'm Dan Betancourt, President of Community First Fund. Been with the organization for 25 years. A lot of our staff members are here, so you'll hear from Jim and Alba as they talk about today's presentation. I get the easy job of just, opening comments and just saying it's great to be in the Reading community. I know that we have pulled together, John, you know that, and others, particularly during COVID. Some of you may not know that we ran the county grant program with the commissioners and put out over $12 million in grants. And then we did approach the Alliance because we wanted to do some things with PPP, and the Alliance supported us with a grant so we can go out and raise some capital. We put out, about $5 million in PPP loans, and then we went to the city and asked them for about $1 million in capital, and the council approved that to put more grants into particularly protecting the hospitality businesses in the city. So you're going to hear more about some of the things. We did start our work. Some of you may remember the Weed and Seed program way back in the early 2000s. We were cutting our teeth doing that in the city. It's just been a great, really love affair between, I think, Community First Fund and the greater Reading community. Most recently, I mean, our lending goes from, $1,000 microloan to, $200,000 or small business, and then some larger projects. I just wanted to share with you, not necessarily public yet, but we are going to be putting some federal tax credits into the Reading Hospital, the former the Community General Hospital, and really reposition that health campus with a very significant tax credit. And the same thing, we've been working for a couple years, and this has been very public, with Leopoldo Sanchez and his fresh food financing project that he has there. Jim, what corner is that?
4th and Elm.
4th and Elm, behind the Medical Arts building, and that's about a $7 million project. We work with the city and county on that. Obviously the chamber, among other organizations, a number of banks to really pull that off. And we just put in some New Markets tax credits into that. That'll be public information, or at least we'll have a major announcement on that later on. But just wanted to let you know that we're working on the redevelopment together with you of the county. So I just now introduced Jim Berger and Alba Fernandez, who are key leaders in lending, and I'll introduce the rest of the staff. I have to run to another meeting, but I just wanted to greet you. I asked Alba and Jim, I really wanted the honor of just being able to provide our warm welcome to you, our lovely community here in Reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We've actually put a presentation, and obviously we're going to have a lot of questions, so we're going to try to leave some time at the end as well. I wanted to introduce you to our team. We obviously have some faces here. I'm Alba Fernandez. I'm the Senior Vice President, Director of Lending. So I oversee the lending in all of our regions, including Berks County. I am from Berks County, so this is really close to my heart. We also have Shannon Leonhardt. She is our Vice President, Community Lender. Erlyn Drabonsky, our community lender here in Reading as well, who also speaks Spanish. Jim Berger, who's actually been with the organization for almost 15 years, and he's currently our affordable housing lender. Hurley Desper, I don't know if he's on the call today, but he actually is also a real estate lender. He's based out of Philadelphia, but he does really work closely with Jim on a lot of the projects in the region. So I wanted to make sure that you knew the faces. We are local to this market, and we wanted to make sure that you knew us by name. So we're going to talk about what Community First Fund is and what we have done in Berks County. Our vision really is to have a really inclusive and equitable, services to those communities and individuals that probably haven't had that equal opportunity in the financial field. We want to be able to create financial equity through wealth opportunities for all individuals, families, business owners, but especially people of color, women, and immigrants. So we are a loan fund, so we do provide lending. However, our lending also comes with a lot of technical assistance. We provide a lot of education and advocacy to really advance those financial services, that business ownership, housing, and community development. So we don't really do our work alone. We do use partners. We collaborate with a lot of partners, other organizations, to be able to provide this service as a whole for all of our borrowers and for the communities as well. So Community First Fund is a community development financial institution, and you've heard the acronym CDFI. And really the mission of CDFIs, and there's thousands of CDFIs all around the country that really have a similar mission. And the mission of the CDFIs is really to expand economic opportunity for underserved people and for underserved communities. So we kind of see ourselves as filling in those gaps where traditional lending and traditional banks are not able to fill. We basically come in with resources to be able to do that. We've been around since 1992. We have provided about $487 million in financing and grants to nearly 12,000 small businesses and nonprofits across 22 counties in Pennsylvania, in Delaware, and New Jersey. During COVID, which was the most trying time and challenging time, especially for a lot of business owners, we provided over 2,500 grants for over 45 million to small businesses, and provided about 462 businesses with PPP loans for over $60 million, and that's throughout our region. And I think now I'm going to turn it over to Jim so he can talk about the impact that we had in Berks County.
Thank you, Alba, and you had to find my unmute button. Well, good morning or good afternoon now. It's good to see everyone. I see a lot of faces that I recognize. I've been with Community First Fund since 2010, and really what I look at and why I value being here with Community First Fund is the fact that I can take a 30-year traditional lending career and turn it into a well, now almost 15-year career where I'm using the skill set that I learned in traditional banking to really assist individuals that don't have that resource generally. And really one of the things I really pride myself on is and as Alba mentioned here, is the collaborative efforts we use. We work with many of the city and county organizations and the city and county themselves, Greater Berks Development Fund, BCIDA, in putting together projects that need sometimes patient capital, flexible capital, that is makes some deals work that wouldn't work without us. And I'm very proud of that work that we do. Since our inception, and I believe we came here in the early 2000s, I'm not sure exactly what year we started in Reading itself, but we made over 550 loans for 58 million. And that's a pretty good number. We're proud of the work that we've done. And as Alba mentioned, we were very proud of the work that we did during the COVID relief. The day that the world closed down, we reopened that next day. And the day that PPP loans could be applied for, which was, I don't know, 2 weeks later or so, it did come around very quickly. We were up and operating, and we're actually one of the few organizations in the country that could actually get PPP loans closed that first week. So we were really and focused on small loans. A lot of our cousins, because of the efforts and the time involved, focused on large loans. But our average loan size on PPP loans, I recall exactly, was around $12,000, and that's as opposed to many of the banks that they averaged $1 million or so. We were really trying to make sure that it's got out into the smallest businesses that really need that help. You probably go on to the next slide here. But it's, as Alba mentioned, we also work with the county and the city in either grants or forgivable loans during the PPP as well. But this gives a little history of our impact overall. It says last year. Is this last year only, Alba?
Yeah, this is only 2023 numbers.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a slide for all of our impact. And really our impact, we focus on what we consider 5 pillars of a healthy community. And the pillars of a healthy community means you've got to have housing that's accessible to all. You need to be able to create economic opportunity with jobs and small business entrepreneurship. We need to, provide help with educational opportunities. Develop, blighted and vacant properties. So, those are some of the pillars that we really focus around, and we do loans that meet all those pillars in a variety of different ways. And I think our next slide talks about some of the clients that we work with. Many of these for almost since we started. I think Johanny Cepeda at Mikasa Sukasa, I think we started working with her in the early 2000s when Nelson De Leon was with us, and he was working closely with her. But many of these others, some are newer, some are older. But what I really would point out with them is many of them we've started much smaller. Sarai's flower shop, I think we started with a small micro loan for her, and it grew and grew, and she helped her buy her place and expand from there. Leopoldo Sanchez, another good example where we started with his original store with a small mortgage, and finished off that store. He opened it up, started operating it right away, and it's now grown to he's building a 30,000 square foot supermarket and warehouse down at the corner of 4th and Elm that has had some challenges, no doubt about that. I think it's been fairly publicly noted in the city council minutes. But with the help of the city council, the county, a lot of organizations, Greater Berks Development Fund, and us to pull together Capital SAC and some sister CDFIs, larger ones from across the country, we've been able to get that back on track now, and it will get finished now in about 12 months. It is fully on target now, and as Dan mentioned, we're anticipating bringing some new market tax credit into that project. Alan Schumann's been a long time client of ours. I know I've worked with him since I came, and I worked with Alan prior to that in a previous life, probably going back to 1992 when I first came to Reading. And he's a prolific developer. He really gets things done. The Big Mill was our first new market project we did anywhere, and it was with the Big Mill project, which was notable not only because of the commercial development at that corner it helped provide, but also the housing that's in there. But how Alan persevered through a devastating fire and got that rebuilt after it was almost complete. Really showed his perseverance in getting things done. Other clients we dealt with here, the Plug has been a good client of ours, and we're glad to help see him grow. I'm not familiar with Cotton Street Cuts. I'll have to leave that for someone else, and Alba can talk about JLA Motorsports. But these are all good in the Berks workforce development. So we started working with Tech Centro in Lancaster. It's probably one of our oldest clients in Lancaster. And Carlos Corpera has expanded this operation now and is moving it into a region-wide workforce development program now. And we help them with the acquisition of a property on North 6th Street, and that is South 6th Street, whichever street it is. And they're expanding here, also in York and Harrisburg and Lebanon counties as well. So we're really proud of the work we do with them. And I think that's about all I'll say at this time. I believe the next slide moves on to someone else.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shannon Leonard. I am Vice President Community Lender here at Community First Fund. And to tag on what Jim was saying, Cotton Street Cuts was a business acquisition loan that was a startup for the buyer, and he took over the business and has expanded the services there. So that is an example of one of the startups that we do. But one of the things I would like to talk about this morning is the access to capital here at Community First Fund. We have broken this down into about 6 or 7 like part of our product family. So as stated prior, we do microloans from as small as a couple $1,000s up into the loans that Jim and Hurley work on to the $5 million range. So the microloans are what we consider smaller loans for folks typically in the startup world. And we talk about startup loans. It's for businesses that have been in existence from just forming up to about 2-3 years, depending on how the business owner is either moving into an existing business and running it themselves, or taking the experience that they have professionally and starting their own business. The small business loans are from about $25,000 up to $750,000. These are more capital provided for a variety of reasons for folks that are kind of taking that next step in growing their business. We have lines of credit available up to $2 million, and we collateralize those lines with a variety of sources if needed. And this is to fill in the gap between receiving funds in your cash cycle and then the funds that you need to send out to your vendors, clients, etc. We also do loans for our nonprofits in the area, and the other loans around commercial real estate would be owner-occupied buildings, mixed-use buildings, folks that want to buy investment properties for rehabilitation, get folks in for landlords that are looking to give back to the community to get affordable housing out there, things of that sort. Also, housing development loans for both for-profit and nonprofit developers of housing of low to moderate income families, and pre-development loans enable housing developers to secure property rights and provide access to professional services necessary in preparing allocations. Next slide. Thank you. So we help businesses also with access to resources. We help businesses start, grow, and expand, as stated earlier. We do this in a few different ways. We talk to our clients and we provide technical assistance, which is just guidance around credit building, businesses, financial literacy education. We help you with your documentation. If you are trying to form a business, but you need help with the actual paperwork, the organizational paperwork, how to file with the state, get an EIN number with the IRS. We have various accountants and legal professionals and coaching professionals with whom we work across the region as well. We talk to our clientele about the documentation from different insurances. We will connect people with different agencies, professionals of that sort. And we also, at times during the course of the year, we have access to different grants that are available out there. The current grant that we are talking to our clients about that have been in business since March 17th of 2020 is the Historical Business Assistant Grant that is given by the state of Pennsylvania. We've been helping a number of our clients with the notification application for that grant as well. And the other folks that we partner with are, of course, Berks Alliance, the Small Business Development Center. They help our clients building business plans, trying to get an idea of projections the next few years for their business so they get an idea of where it's heading. The Loungebox, the Latino Chamber, of course, and we also have a good relationship with the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance and the Neighborhood Housing Services as well, all partners in our community. And what can the loans be used for? A variety of reasons. Of course, to buy equipment, if you need to replace equipment or buy new or used equipment to help expand your business. We're definitely like to do that sort of financing. Leasehold improvements and renovations. This can be done for a property that you use or a property that a business owner rents. You know, there's some, you find a space, but you just have to tweak it a bit to fit what your vision is for your business. We'll help you finance that. Of course, to buy real estate, every financial institution loves real estate. We provide you with, all right, before we get to the part where you're actually going to buy it, these are the things that you need to put in place prior. We will refinance your current real estate for whatever reason. Maybe you got into a loan that was higher interest rate at some time because you need to do a fast closing. Come to us. We'll take a look at that loan for you and maybe put it in a more affordable situation for you. And if you need some cash out for renovations, anything like that, talk to us about it. And of course, working capital. This is typically for businesses that are really growing, and we need to fill in that gap in the cash flow cycle between when you need to send out your payables and then you get your accounts receivable in. We'll provide that working capital. With all that being said, we have a current client of ours with us today. She is the owner of Your Home Settlement Services. There should be your in front of that. She's located over in, I want to say Sinking Spring, but that might be a Wyomissing zip code. But Linda, I will let you take it from here to discuss your business and how you felt about working with Community First.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well? I am very honored to be here today, and I thank Shannon. She's wonderful, and Community First Fund, thank you so much, and Berks Alliance also for having everyone today. It's amazing to hear all of the stories and what they're doing for the community, and I did not know of them. I did not know of Berks Alliance also. I remember Googling them. And I was like, well, what can they offer me? And, you know, it's like she said, I'm the owner of Your Home Settlement Services. We offer full bilingual title services, closing, escrow, searches, and so much more to offer. And we opened our doors late spring of last year. And it was, you know, thanks to Community First Fund for helping me. I will say that a lot of people tell me it's not about what you did or how you did it. It's how you felt when you were doing it and that impact that somebody leaves on you. And I know that my initial call with Shannon, and I won't get emotional, but my initial call with her was like, she was like all about like, you know, who are you? What's your story? You know, every entrepreneur has a story. And she knew, you know, she knew exactly what she was asking. She was, you know, caring, and she was like, okay, so you want to do this? And I'm explaining my vision, and it's kind of like, it's nice to share a vision with someone and someone actually be like, wow, like, yeah, we need that. And, you know, instead of somebody just shutting you down, and I'm super blessed. I feel super blessed to be here, to be able to open our doors. We actually are in West Lawn, is the address. I think it's just the cutoff a little bit of the Wyomissing area, but we offer services to Berks County and all surrounding areas in Pennsylvania. And our vision here at Your Home Settlement Services is to make the client feel like they're at home, which is why we were very careful when we chose the name, is that we wanted someone to feel warm. We wanted the closing celebration to be something that they remembered and how they felt when they were left, you know, when they left here, and how they felt that day. You ask a lot of clients like what title insurance is, they have no idea. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I closed it someplace in Wyomissing. It was a big building and that's all I remember. And, you know, if they don't remember my office, it's okay. I want them to remember how they felt when they left here. And that opportunity for Community First Fund to help us get started, help us out with some of the capital, because with title insurance, you know, a lot of it you have to pay up front and then you hope to close and get some kind of reimbursement for some of the items. But they helped us with that. They helped us with some of the equipment. I needed a new computer, and some fixings here in the office. And it's a beautiful place. We're at 2209 Quarry Drive. It's a beautiful office. I am super, super happy here. And I would say that the most important part is that I feel super blessed, and I love what I do. So I don't feel like I come to work. I feel like I come just to serve people. I love to serve people. And like I said before, my main thing is the reward that I'm getting when I help the clients, and to be able to do that and help people feel the way I feel, it's amazing. And that's priceless to me. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you being here. So I'm going to turn it over to Erlen. He's going to talk about how to get started.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Alba. Thank you, team. Appreciate the opportunity to share with the team. And so we're here to help you. And so how do we get started? For those of you in the audience or anybody who would like to contact us, we have a way, obviously, our website, if Community First Fund web application. And there you have the opportunity to fill out an interest form. That'll come directly to us into the system, and one of us will be able to be assigned to help you get started. Shannon's information is there at communityfirstfund.org, and my email as well. So make a note of those two. It'll be more than happy to start your application process. And so the fun part, I was assigned. So how can we help you? How can we help you determine if you're ready, right? And so number of things that we delve into is, okay, and like Linda said, we want to know your story. We want to know your personal information, and we try to determine how your background and experience, can directly can follow directly to the project that you're starting. Obviously, for that we require some number of years of tax information, 3 years of tax information, and some other, personal ID and things like that. As far as the business project information, so we want to understand what the project is, how the funds are going to be used, and for that also, we if you are an existing business owner, we want to get 3 years of business tax. It's very, very important. Business plan and financial projections. So the great thing about our institution is we actually work with startups. I know that not everybody has an appetite for that, but if you come to us and have a startup, we can work with you. Again, we'll require some years of personal financial information in that case. And if it's a new, like I said, a new business will require business plan, financial projections. And if you don't have that, then we'll certainly collaborate with one of our partner institutions, such as SBDCs in our area, and they'll be more than happy to help you. And by the way, at no cost. I know I've had clients come to me and say, okay, here's the business plan that I just paid hundreds of dollars for. So it pains me to hear that, because we need to disseminate this information more than we have access to services at no cost to you. And then of course we'll review the 5 C's of credit, going over the different things such as character, capacity, collateral, capital, conditions. The most important thing I can tell you out of that is that, and I've had clients come to me and they say, do I need to have a specific credit score for you to be able to help me? And no, you don't have that. We look at the overall, your entire credit history to understand how we can help you. And then from that, then we determine the eligibility, right? And if needed, additional resources. Again, we can provide you. Sometimes we can provide you getting a particular document, such as an incorporation. That's part of our technical assistance. So we're here. We'll provide you. And again, we'll direct you to some of our sister and cousins. Such as the SBDC that they provide assistance. Right now, for example, we're here in Alvernia. We're located in the 401 Penn. Alvernia is developing basically a small business development center right here. So even within our offices, we can provide you and refer you to the right sources. And finally, we are here to assist you in the right, from the beginning beginning to end and beyond. And what we say is that we want to make sure that you succeed, and that we want to make sure that you grow and come back. Just to give you an example, just closed on a loan from a client. He came back for his 7th loan with us. So that shows you the type of relationship we have with them. So, and at this point, I believe I would like to open to anybody who has any questions, or we jump into the video, right?
Yeah, we're gonna share just a short clip, and then there we actually will open it up for any questions that anybody has. So I'm gonna stop sharing, and then Michelle is gonna assist me with sharing the video.
Are you guys looking at my screen?
Yes. we can
Yes.
see it. We don't see the video yet, but we hear it coming.
In my community, a lot of us do not have the role models as to how to run a business. And one of the things that I have gained from being involved in Community First Funds is access to seminars, access to money, and then access to support. It's one thing to wake up and say, I have a dream to start a business. We all have dreams, but Community First Fund provides the means to help us realize the dreams that we have.
I see Community First Fund as a game changer for so many people. They're a light at the end of the tunnel. For the small business person, larger banks are really intimidating. Here at Community First Fund, from the moment you walk through the door, if you're not ready or you're not sure what you want to do, there are tons of people that will guide you through the process. It's not just a loan, it's more like a family looking out for you.
Es muy importante el idioma español y nos atiende amable y eso es lo importante. Todos los personales de aquí es una bendición. Los recomiendo de que otras personas, para que no tengan miedo de poder abrir una cuenta.
I came as an immigrant to this country since 1999. I have a dream to open my own flower shop, and 2004 I get an opportunity to go on my own. Community First Fund helped me go through all the documents, get everything what I need correctly and professionally.
Best thing that could have happened to the business was Community First Fund. When nobody else believed in the plug, they did. Everybody wants to be either a movie star, a rapper, or an athlete. I wanted to show these kids that there's other ways to be successful, rather be a business owner, and that's why we're adamant on trying to hire young people that look like me, that there's more than one way to provide for your family.
We see Community First Fund as a collaborator, as a partner. We have used a Community First Fund to support pre-development financing, support commercial development initiatives in our neighborhood, and now we have a partnership to be able to provide mortgages.
I was denied and turned down by so many banks, and Community First Fund said yes. And I've been a customer of Community First Fund approximately 30 years now.
We are committed to supporting entrepreneurs start, grow, and prosper. So to us, Community First Fund is an anchor in our community that continues to lend to diverse businesses, and it's just a fantastic institution to trust and work with.
Community First Fund es una institución que está contribuyendo grandemente con nuestras comunidades pobres porque la facilidad que no tuvimos con otros bancos tradicionales la conseguimos con ellos y hemos economizado bastante dinero porque en otras instituciones habíamos tenido más trabas para conseguir préstamos y los intereses mucho más altos.
Community First Fund fue de mucho apoyo para nosotros y queremos seguir creciendo con ellos.
My experience with Community First Fund has been absolutely wonderful. I would recommend Community First Fund because they actually care about your growth. helping you grow your mission.
We are family-owned business. We started from the bottom. We recommend Community First Fund because they deal with you as a person, not just as a business.
Because remember, when I come in here, I don't have no paper, I don't have no opportunity. Great people working to help the Hispanic community. And I recommend it 100%.
Oh, great. Thank you. Very, very good stuff. So it's about the money, but it's not just about the money.
Right.
Talk about some of the services that you find important for your customers that they maybe don't get other places.
So it's really important, and I'm gonna allow also some of our other staff members to also chime in. But like you said, it's not just about the capital. A lot of the borrowers and some of the clients that we help need more than just the capital. They really need that guidance. They don't, we want to make sure that they're using the correct services. Credit is important. Financial literacy is important as well, making sure that they're doing things to be able to help their businesses advance. And for many years, we do see clients that, do their own taxes, or they utilize, a family member to do their taxes, but they don't understand the complexity that sometimes that could bring. So we try to, put them in front of professionals that are able to give them advice. We obviously are not those type of professionals, right? We're not CPAs, we're not lawyers. But we do know that we do need that expertise to be able to guide our clients through that process. A lot of them come with an idea. Hey, this is what I want to do. This is my dream. So we help them go through the process. It's really about meeting the clients where they are. So a lot of them would just need that guidance. So if they do need to meet with someone at SCORE or at some of the local small business development centers, so they can do a one-on-one consultation, create a business plan, work through the financial projections, because again, they're not, those organizations are also not just doing the work for the client. They're also going through the process of education. How does this really look? How does this affect your business? So that's really the type of support that we provide through the entire process. And once we're able to do that loan and we provide that check to the client, it's not just giving them money and letting them go. It's really following up with them on a regular basis, making sure that they are being successful, that the capital that we provide, it's really making an impact and making a change in that particular business. And that has a trickle effect. That business is successful, the next business is successful, and so on. So that's how we really create that vibrant community. And we're doing it one business at a time.
If I can follow up, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
Jim, go ahead.
Just to follow up on Elba's comments too, I think a lot of times our borrowers that come in, aren't sophisticated business owners. They're sometimes immigrants, sometimes persons of color. But even if they're not, they may not have bought a business before, or they may not have ever had to apply for a loan before. So a lot of times, all they need is someone to listen to them and take the time to help understand what it is they need. And so I think what we're particularly adept at is really, putting together the team to make that happen for them. And it might mean, getting an SBA loan involved, might mean getting a partner to help us out, or using another program with the Federal Home Loan Bank that we've used that helps minority borrowers with a patient mezzanine capital. So it's really trying to listen to their needs and then really putting together a package that makes it come true.
Do you follow up with them once you make the loan, or do you just say, good luck, go off and do it?
No, no, we do have frequent follow-ups with all of our borrowers. So, Shannon and Erlen are really out there, not just doing new loans, but we're also maintaining contact, asking to see if making sure that everything's running well, that they don't need any additional resources, but also allowing them to tell us what's working, what's not working, and then, you know, us being able to help them along the way.
How do you guys define success then?
We've had, well, some of those clients that you saw there, have really come, you know, gone through the whole process and have been able to scale up. I mean, success could really mean many different things for different borrowers. You know, so you could really have, you know, somebody just trying to get a $5,000 loan to buy a new computer, right? Or, you know, that business owner that has been leasing the space for 5 years and now they have an opportunity to actually purchase that building that they're occupying, so that they now have an asset and they're building and they're growing and they're building wealth. So that for us, you know, defines a road to success, but that really could look different for everybody. And that's, you know, Shannon went over all the products and all the types of loans that we do. It's really designed to help each person along the way. So we really can meet everybody at any stage, whether it's to be, you know, to get started or somebody that has already been in business for a while and now they're looking to expand.
One of my favorite loans I ever made was a $700 loan to a Latina elderly lady, beautiful lady, and she needed $700 to purchase a sewing machine so she could make quinceanera dresses. And we made that loan, and I don't speak Spanish, and at the time, no one in my office did. So we got that done though with the help of one of our Spanish lenders out of Lancaster. But it was that's actually, of my 14 years here, it's probably the most rewarding loan ever made.
That's neat. That's really neat. There are a couple areas that you talked about that I'm not sure people are aware that you really are engaged in. You talked about residential, you talked about educational opportunities. Talk about those a little bit more so we understand what they are.
Sure. So our Community First Fund has always been a traditional business lender. So we really focused on businesses, growing businesses, and people that really wanted to take on entrepreneurship. In the 2020, the year that we all remember, we actually merged with an organization, another CDFI in Philadelphia, by the name of Finanta. And through Finanta, we actually began to, they had already a setting to help individuals with first-time home buyer programs. And we decided to continue to use that program. And to this day, we're offering residential mortgages in Philadelphia through that first-time home buyer program. We also have a huge microlending program in Philadelphia as well, which is our affinity group lending. And that is designed really to bring a number of entrepreneurs together to go through a process of not just, again, providing capital, but go through a series of education. So they actually have a program where 12 months at a time, they go through different workshops and seminars, and they do one-on-one consultations. Again, we do that with the help of some of the partners that we named earlier. So we do have staff that has technical assistance, but we also have that outside collaboration. And
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and just to kind of let you know what one of our latest accomplishments is that we actually opened a credit union in Lancaster, and we started working with the consumer side of the community by being able to open that door for those individuals that needed that consumer guidance, right? So, you know, those people that, you know, needed education or just had to open an account, you know, get a loan, get started, you know, and eventually possibly even purchase, you know, a home or even a vehicle. So we are now doing that in Lancaster. I know I saw Jonathan here. He's the head of our credit union. But, you know, and the goal really is to hopefully expand into all of our markets. Obviously, that's you know, due to the banking regulations, and that becomes a little bit more extreme, but we are working to expand those services throughout all of our regions.
Good. We had a question about that, but I'm going to jump on something you talked about in Philly and do a commercial here. Community First Fund is a very active partner in an entrepreneurial ecosystem that we're trying to create here in Berks County called Elevate Berks. And that is the sense of bringing together all the different partners who provide all those different services. How important is that, you think, to your organization and to this community?
I'm going to respond, but I open it up for my colleagues here to chime in. I believe we're an essential part of the ecosystem in any region that we're in. The fact that we're providing capital, that we're providing that assistance, we're working with other organizations. And I said it before, we don't do our work alone. So we do have to utilize all of the resources that we have available to us in the community to be able to bring our mission forward. But I believe we also help some other organizations bring their mission forward. We saw in Philadelphia specifically, the work that ASE is doing to create affordable housing and to make sure that those affordable housing units are staying in individuals that cannot afford higher rent. So we're really making sure that it's not just our mission that's being advanced, but also other organizations that have a similar interest in creating that ecosystem that really thrives with everyone, but specifically low income and people of color.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that you have seen here in Berks County for small businesses, for startup businesses, for the people living here, working here?
I want to defer that over to one of our colleagues. I don't want to do all the talking. So Shannon, Erlen, Jim.
I would say I've been with the organization for about a year and a half now. And one of the challenges I feel with some of our clients that come to Community First Fund, and I can draw back to my traditional banking career as well, is just having the proper financials and paperwork that we're requesting, being open to providing. There are folks that if they don't have a lot of experience borrowing money, they don't know what they don't know, and that's not anybody's fault in that situation. But on the other side of that it is developing the trusted partnership between ourselves and our clientele. It doesn't matter who they are. You think about, okay, I met this woman 10 minutes ago and now she's asking for all my financial history. That's a pretty big ask. And that is something that we realize, but going through the steps and discussing, we need this information because of these reasons, because you want to do this type of project, or because we might have a weakness in one area. So we need to pull in more information, maybe regarding collateral or expanding your business plan a few more years, just so we know that you have an understanding of the challenges that are in front of you. So it's definitely, I don't even think it's just a Berks County issue, David. I think it's just the lending, and in the space that we're in, developing that trusted relationship. And sometimes we're fortunate enough that it takes only a couple weeks, and other times it's a month long. It takes a few months because of just getting a comfort level in divulging all this information about the client and giving us that opportunity to really dig in for them.
That's excellent, Shannon. And if I could maybe just add, I think the other thing I see most commonly, and this is not just in Berks County, but everywhere, people come in and they certainly have a need. Often, though, they don't understand that we're a loan fund, not a grant program, and that we need to use the same kind of basic lending metrics that any lending institution would use, whether it's a traditional bank or not. so we do need to see that they've got some skin in the game, that they do have some equity into it, that there is a plan on how it can get paid back logically. So it's sometimes not understood. They just think, well, I'll come in and get a loan, and I should be able to walk out with the money. So it is while we're more flexible, I think, than a traditional bank might be able to be, there still are basic lending tenets that we're going to have to abide by and help them understand what they are, and then also look for ways to maybe help them fit into them that most lenders just won't take the time. They need to move on to the next deal. They'll deal with someone who knows what they're doing and not try to help that start of a business figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And yeah, and something I also wanted to mention, something can be small, but it could become a big obstacle, is the language barrier. A lot of our clients in the Berks County area for small businesses speak Spanish only or other languages. And as far as the Spanish speaking, I can give an example. We're trying to promote the small business to apply for this grant, right? And one of the things that I realized by working here is that this is not an 8 to 5 job, okay? So if the client is only available at night, then that's when we help them. So I was on the phone with a client, and she only had her cell phone, and we're trying to do the application, and she's reading it, but it's only in English. So we're trying to see. So as she was reading it in broken English, I then translate back to her. So that type of commitment, that type of patience that requires, because we really want her, that type of client to succeed. If they can get along, that grant from anywhere from 2,500 to 10,000, that's going to make a big impact on that. So again, a little bit non-traditional in the sense that we will go the extra mile. We will work the after hours. We will meet you where you are to try to make you succeed.
So that sense of engagement is really critical. You talked about and highlighted some of the work that was done during COVID, and particularly, I think, emphasized the relationships you have with government organizations. How important is public-private partnerships in your work?
It's really, really important. So CDFIs we don't have our own funding. We actually have to get funding from other sources to be able to lend it out. And specifically the grant program that we ran during COVID really came from the state of Pennsylvania, the PA CARES Act. They were able to put aside, $200 million to be able to make sure that the small business owners were getting assistance. And we managed that through that process. And that really took a lot of advocacy from our CEO, from our executive, and it also really created the PA CDFI network, who is a conglomerate of, about 20 CDFIs that actually work together to really create this awareness in all levels, federal, state, local programs. But, like I said, we're not a bank. We don't really get our funding directly from the federal government. We actually have banks that usually invest in us. Think there's a question here about how do you really support? So we actually have to borrow from banks to be able to lend our money out. Plus, we also take advantage of some of the programs and some of like Jim mentioned, some of those mezzanine financing that we could do. We really could get creative with some of the lending that we do, just because we have different sources of funds. So because of that, and there's a question here in the chat about the types of terms and the amortization. So we have similar terms to a traditional bank. Obviously, our pricing it's a little bit higher because our cost of funds is higher than what a bank would be, but it's not that much higher. You're looking maybe 1 or 2 basis points above what a traditional bank would charge. It depends on the risk as well. And depending on the loan, every loan has different pricing. And that's basically on the commercial side. Obviously, the residential side, now with the credit union, in some of the programs in Philadelphia. But so we do try to make sure that we're not putting a burden on these individuals that are borrowing money from us. So we do try to make it fair as well. But we always, want to make sure that we're doing the correct thing for everyone. So our pricing is fair, but it's not similar to a bank, so you can't really compare that.
But it's available to people who might not be able to get money from a bank.
Correct, exactly.
The other half of George's question too is around amortization or the length of term, and really that depends on the loan. We're going to match that just like any financial institution to the useful life of how it's being used. So if you're buying a property, sure, we can amortize that over 15 or 20 years generally, commercial property. If you're buying a piece of equipment, it's more likely to be around 7 years. Again, because that equipment is going to get wear and tear and wear out over time. If it's working capital, that's going to be shorter term. So it's really hard to answer that question generally, other than to say it's really going to depend on how it's being used. And then Jeremy asked about
we're gonna
other ways.
Let me ask his question. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just asking, are there other ways we can support Community First Fund's work? And then, is there any need at the moment? Is the current supply equal to the demand for borrowing at the moment? For qualified borrowing, obviously, there's always people willing to take money.
You want to go, Alba, or you want me to answer that?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
We've been blessed for a lot of years now that actually our supply has exceeded our demand as far as having capital to lend. And I attribute that to our development department has been outstanding and going out and seeking grants to help support us and seeking institutions to support us. Alba mentioned that we borrow money from banks and they get a return for that. Part of their return is their reinvestment in the communities that they're required to do. And I think they also generally do like to see the work we do, and they do love that we're able to have more flexible terms. So they do, they provide us debt, but it's still capital. So we've not really had an issue being able to fund loans. Right now we have pretty good, at least we did 6 months ago, pretty big excess capital. I've made a few big loans lately, so I might have used a bunch of it up, but I don't think we're out yet. So.
No.
Okay, I was going to close with a question about how do you define success, but I think I'm going to let somebody else answer that question other than you guys. Linda, how successful have they been with you?
Well, that's a great question, because it's like Alba said, it depends on your situation, depends on your story, and how do you see success? Because it's not like just a one answer. For me, success is being able to do what I love and get paid for it and live like almost like a dream. And that's what success is. It's not about the big house. It's not about a car. It's not things. It's how you feel and how to give it back. Like, it's kind of hard to explain it, right? But when you feel warm and you're grateful, then that's how you're going to serve people. And then that's success to me.
And obviously, Community First Fund was instrumental in your success.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Alba and team. This is a great show and so inspirational. The work you're doing is so critical. And I think there's lots of lessons here, not the least of which is the one about the importance of collaboration and partnerships. Working together, we can make a better place. So Thank you all. I
just want to say we have the contact information on the chat. We also have the link to the Historically Disadvantaged Business Assistance grant, which actually closes tomorrow. So I just wanted to put a plug for that. There is some qualifications in there, but if you qualify, please go in and apply.
And we'll send that information out when we send the video out to everybody, hopefully in time enough for people to still apply for the funding. And we look forward to the credit union and Jonathan and Carnacio bringing that to Reading.
Hopefully, yes.
Thank you very much. A great presentation.
Thank you for having us.
I'm going to do a quick commercial. We're going to be doing one of our community forums next week on what's happening at the Reading Airport. So some very interesting and transformative changes happening there. But what you're doing is transforming this community too. So thank you, Community First Fund, for all you're doing. And thank you, everybody, for joining us.